All right, guys. So, for more than half a century, three car manufacturers have defined themselves as American car performance. Talking about Ford, Chevy, Dodge. You know those. Everybody know them. But as of late, it's mainly been a battle between the two of them, between Chevy and Ford. Um, the Dodge used to compete with the Viper, but I'm not sure if that's ever coming back. I mean, I hope, but Dodge has still got the SRT Demon. And to tell you the truth, honestly, if you think about it, that's an old way of doing battle. Where all American cars took place in drag racing and NASCAR, which is an American motorsport. And they battle in the showroom from coast to coast. But guys, there's a new way of doing battle these days. Dodge used to take part in the battle. The Viper was the fastest car on the Nurburgring. But essentially, what Ford did was take a full blown race car, stick a Mustang badge on it, essentially. And I mean, that's it. It's just a race car with a Mustang badge. And obviously accomplish something that no American car manufacturer before it has been able to accomplish. And they planted their flag and they was sitting back enjoying the victory. But that victory was short lived because Chevy responded almost right away. Chevy is now the new the undisputed king on the Nurburgring, and there's this done this shot back or this counter shot. It's sparking an all out battle between Ford and Chevy, and so that's why I say there's only two because this is all out war. So yeah, guys, for the longest time, I'd say a sub 7 second was a very exclusive club for a production car, and it's something that only legends have ever been able to accomplish. Actually, in order to get it, before your name had to be Porsche, to be honest. But now you see the AMG. It's still a very few, a very small amount of manufacturers ever able to do it. Lamborghini, I think, have one also. But even today, guys, it's still not a lot of sub 7 second cars production. But as soon as Ford accomplished this monumental feat, Chevy again hit them with the counter punch. In my eyes, it looked like Chevy just looked Ford in the eyes and said, "What have you got now?" You know what I mean? Like, what you? Come on, I see what you got. Look what I got. What you got? That's what it felt like to me. I mean, it's like fighting words, guys. So if you go back for a second, guys, we gotta rewind back just a little bit. Let's just remember what Ford built, what Mustang GTD was supposed to be. I mean, not supposed to be, what it is. Guys, from the beginning, if you watch all the documentaries that Ford did on the Mustang GTD, which y'all should check those out. Those are really good documentaries. I love those documentaries. Ford and Chevy do some of the best documentaries, by the way. But if you watch those documentaries, you'll see the Mustang GTD was built not just as your track focused Mustang. It wasn't nothing like that. It was built for one thing and one thing only, to dominate the Nurburgring. And so even though it didn't break the record on the Nurburgring, we're not talking about just the American record. Even though it didn't break the all out record, it definitely staked its claim and said I could compete with any of these supercars and even hypercars in a sense around the Nurburgring. And so with that goal in mind, what they built was extremely just an absolute animal, guys. The Mustang, like I said, not the Mustang your neighbor drive. The engine in that car came from the GT500, and I mean, the GT500 have had already made a lot of power, but in the case of the GTD, it made 815 horsepower, and then you wrap that around all carbon fiber body. Only the middle is like the same as a Mustang. Everything else is carbon fiber, and then they stuck the wing on the back of it, that massive wing built straight out of F1 with DRS, so it could cut through the air when you need on the long straights. But guys, remember that wing creates so much downforce, they couldn't even mount that wing to the trunk of that car. It had to be mounted to the frame of the car because that's the only thing that could support the kind of pressure that wing is created to handle. So and then hell, even if you think about what's underneath that car, I mean, it had the push rod suspension. I can't even mention another car that's not $1 million car with push rod suspension. So like that just lets you know Ford was not cutting any corners when they made the GTD. They were very serious. Sure, they stuck a Mustang badge on the grill, but beyond that, it's like no expense was spared. And then here's another approach how you know Ford was being very serious. They didn't put just any driver in behind the wheel of the Nurburgring. They put a professional driver named Dirk Mueller. And if you know anything about Dirk Mueller, he's nobody. Almost nobody knows the Nurburgring better than Dirk Mueller. I mean, he probably know the Nurburgring better than his own backyard.
We have a lot of great race car drivers, but Dirk Mueller was the obvious choice to put into the driver's seat to set this lap time.
He knows that place like the back of his hand.
Honestly, he's always on the Nurburgring. And so you put those two, a Le Mans winning race car driver with a race car that's built for production. It's no wonder they were officially able to set a 652, making it the first American car to break the 7 second barrier. And honestly, they flew right through it because that's a really impressive time, man. It was nipping at the heels of the Porsche, and I know everybody was looking like, oh, what's Ford on about? But yeah, guys, they were king. They were like that Mustang GTD. I mean, I still think so. Look, I still think the Mustang GTD is a king when it comes to track car. So, how did Chevy respond, guys? Well, after a shot like that, Chevy said, you know what? We're gonna counter punch with our own weapon of our own. So they made a car with 1,060 something horsepower. It's making more than that based on dynos. They underestimated that engine. And then honestly, the entire weight of that battle, that the war we just set Ford waged, was all on the C8, the ZR1 and the ZR1X to shoulder. And so they didn't just meet expectations. I think they obliterated them because I don't think anybody expected Chevy to not just crush the 7 second barrier, but the 7 minute barrier, but they also obliterated Ford's time with not just one but two cars, guys. Both the ZR1 and the ZR1X are the new kings, with the ZR1 running a 650 and the ZR1X running a 649 around the Nurburgring. And honestly, if you thought that alone was a knockout blow, nah. You remember I told you about Ford earlier using a race car driver, the guy who knows the Nurburgring? Chevy did this using, they didn't use a world record holding or a race car driver. Nah, they set it with their own engineers. Now, if you look at my last video, guys, you'll know I think those guys are really good drivers. So I'm not. I think in Chevy's own documentary, they mentioned the guy that was driving the ZR1X had been on the Nurburgring with Chevy alone 600 times. So I'm not saying they're very fast drivers, but guys, that goes to show you the difference in the two cars. One did it with engineers and one did it with a race car driver. So guys, now that these battle lines have moved around and went worldwide, so a new line have been drawn. Essentially, you have the Snatch King in one quarter with the GTD that was once the king of the Nurburgring for American cars, being just that losing their crown almost immediately from Chevy. What do you think Ford should do about Chevy's new champion? Do you think they have enough to just go back on the Nurburgring with the GTD and take the crown back, if eventually countering the counterpunch? Or do you think Chevy ZR1X is just too much and Ford need to build something else, something a little bit more extreme to go out and do battle. Let me know in the comment section below, guys. And while you're there, hit the like and subscribe button let's get a conversation going because I really want to know what you think. So, guys, while on paper this looked like a straightforward, just two companies doing battle, it's not so straightforward when you really think about it. This is more of a battle of two philosophies and clashing against each other. Because again, like I mentioned, look at Ford's approach.
We care about this car more than you could ever imagine, and we want this car to go down in history as one of the best performance vehicles ever.
Ford took a whatever it take approach. They wanted to, like, failure wasn't an option for Ford. They built a race car, barely production level race car. And they put a world class race car driver behind the seat to get every inch or every tenth of seconds out of that car that it possibly can. Whereas Chevy wanted to build an everyman's car. Or at least the idea is, every man can buy the Chevy Corvette, and with enough practice and time on the track, you too can achieve a sub 7 second car. And they took that formula and won. I mean, without a race car driver, proving that you don't need to be a Le Mans racing driver with a super fast race car to win. Chevy won with less, essentially. And so this is why I say this is a battle like of philosophies. So, guys, beyond the lap times, there's another crucial part of this battle: the price tag. Because here it is, guys. Ford built an extraordinary machine. I really love the Ford GTD. Front engine, rear wheel drive. You guys know how I feel about that. They took that platform and turned it into a race car, and they truly did build an extraordinary machine. But at what cost? The Mustang GTD cost 328 or 330,000, and that's an extremely high cost to pay. I mean, if you got it, you got it, sure. But Chevy, on the other hand, was able to do it at a monumental price cut at 200,000 for the ZR1. And I mean, I don't have any official price for ZR1X yet, but let's just say it's 250, 270. It's still gonna be less than the Mustang GTD, I believe. That could change. But essentially, it raises a fascinating question of what defines a victory. Because let's say Ford counter punches again and beat Chevy around the Nurburgring by just a little bit, making them the new king. Did they really win the battle? Because I mean, they still, in my opinion, at that price tag, it's not producing that price per performance value that the Corvette could offer. And honestly, I don't think Chevy even have to recount a punch to win the battle. I think just with the price so aggressively the way it is, Chevy's already winning the battle and have already won the battle. But I would like to still see Ford try and take back the mantle. So as it stands today, guys, Chevy, they wear the crown. They own the crown. And even though Ford's reign was historic, it was historically short. And honestly, the ZR1 and the ZR1X is the new king. They are the fastest American car to ever lap the Nurburgring, and so they wear the crown. And for anybody who followed the Ford and Chevy battle, we all know this. It's not the end of. It's not the last chapter, especially when you know how Ford do. Ford's own CEO, what was his name? Jim Farley, I think. He publicly posted on Chevy's Instagram, "Congratulations," and then he posts "Game on." Now we all know what "Game on" means, guys. Ford is definitely going back, and they already started looking at that to see how they could get some time out of the Mustang GTD. But they almost most certainly will be going back to the Nurburgring to defend its honor. And so the battle for the Nurburgring became the new battleground, essentially. for these American cars to compete on, and I love it because again, it's my favorite track. And I don't know. Right now, the rights belong to the Corvette, and Ford can take it back, honestly, and become the new king. But which part of the war is more important to you? Winning the numbers game on the Nurburgring, or are you like me and you think, even though you love the Mustang, Chevy has already fired the winning shot by beating it in the first place with a car that everybody can aspire to want, own maybe in the future if you work hard enough. And then once you get it, you can go on the track and just become have a very fast everyday car. Because again, it's not a full-blown race car that Chevy made. So let me know what you think, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section below. Thank you.